So you got the offer and you're all excited. They send you an email with the offer letter. Wow. They're doing the background check. They're sending you all this information and you're doing your due diligence. The reason why I'm doing this video is because I have had close clients, close friends, people I know. I mean, this is not a made up story. I wish it was. I can honestly tell you from 10 years ago, I would have never believed this. Who are we hiring in HR? I was shocked to hear. Now, obviously, I can't share the company's name. Wish I could because I would bold that. But here, they made an offer. They tell the person to give their 2 weeks' notice to their current employer. Now, thankfully, this person knew enough to call me, and we had this conversation, and something wasn't sitting right. And I mean, let me tell you, he even showed me, he sent me, he forwarded me the offer letter and everything. So I'm like, oh, this looks legit. Blah, blah, blah. I read it. There was nothing. There was no red flag. It was a typical offer letter. But here's the caveat. We were speaking a week later, and I said, wait, aren't you supposed to start on Blase Day? You're like a week from that. And he proceeded to say, yeah, I'm about to give my notice. I said, no, let's not do that. Follow up with that HR person. Find out what's going on. So he reached out. I'm telling you guys, I really wish I was making this up. He reached out to HR. First time he reached out, he was told he couldn't get a hold of the actual HR person. But he was told that this individual was on vacation. I was like, okay. And while this person is on vacation, no one handles new hires, orientation setup. Something wrong, something's broken here. But that's just the HR person in me. I said, Marisol, take it down a couple. It just might be. And I started filling in the blanks with what I was hoping was actually happening. But that gut feeling I had, I was spot on, guys. Then HR, the week before he's supposed to start, doesn't respond to his emails, but decide that they were going to call him to tell him that they were going to rescind the offer. Now, mind you, had excellent references, and his references even confirmed he got a copy of his background. It was clear. They decided that, and you want to hear the stupid excuse that they gave him? I can't make this up. I can't make this up. They told him that the background expired. What kind of excuse is that? I would have even respected, not that it was, but to me that was like, what? The background expired? What a nincompoop. How does this and mind you, I did find out that their HR person is a younger, don't get mad at me if you're younger, but you know what? If you're a leader, a CEO of a company, whether you have 50 or 1 employee or 3 employees, 5 employees, you better have somebody ethical in your HR department. That's not I want to call, if I wasn't a child of God, I would have called them out of their name. Yes, I would have. Because that made me didn't give his notice. Because how many times people say, oh, well, I could go back to my employer and say, hey, psych. Guess what? Some employers, once you give your notice, that's it. You're done. There's no taking it back. How are you going to take it back? This to me is so mind-boggling. The reason why I'm creating this video is don't you give your 2 weeks notice until you know that everything is clear and you got something in writing. And here's the sad part. Even if you get it, the only reason they should be rescinding your offer if something in your background doesn't clear. That's different. And many times, and hear me, if you know that your background, that they come back and then there's something, because I can even tell you from even an HR perspective, it has happened to me. I'm like, no, you better go back to the drawing board because my background is clear. this, everything's good. Like, no. But this is what I'm saying. Sometimes they hire a third party, but there's certain places we don't skimp at, and that is a background check. Who's a good third party? I'm just saying. But before you put in, so if you got a job offer and you're all giddy about it, make sure you triple confirm that your background cleared and put it in writing. I'm excited. I'm about to put my 2 weeks notice. I just want to confirm, or I already put my 2 weeks notice. I want to confirm that this date I'm still starting, that everything is clear. Let me know if you have any questions. Make sure you get an answer. Now, if after you send that email and you get crickets, you better pick up that phone and call somebody. But my final advice to this individual, I was so glad he followed my advice. He did not give his 2 weeks notice. He still has his current job. Ooh, praise the Lord for that. But here's the thing. So then he piggybacked, and he did send a very professional but follow-up email to cover all his bases. And he forwarded the original offer letter that they sent him. Of course, he didn't get a response because there's egg on their face. But if that HR person worked for me, they would be fired. I would have respected that person. Maybe something happened. It wasn't, and this is what I told them, it wasn't something he did. They might have. And this is what I'm hearing. This part really gets my goat. Unethical. So they made him the offer, and they might have found someone else that was willing to take a couple of $1,000s less. I'm not saying that's the story. I don't know that to be the truth. But I'm hearing through some people I'm working with, that's happening. I'm embarrassed. And these people call themselves HR professionals. If you do that, you're not an HR professional. You're not. I'm the OG, right? I'm the original. I'm the original HR. I work hard at being ethical and being a Christian at that. Dag Skippy, I don't lie, and I'm transparent. And if something happened, if there was honestly a mistake, they should have been honest with him. Yeah, it still would have stung, but still, companies have to realize that when you make an offer, these people have to give a 2 weeks notice. And you could just mess up. How many people have moved to other states, and when they get there, someone tells them, sorry, they start maybe one day or when they moved into their new place? Just saying, let me tell you, I'm creating a class. I mean, do I have to go back to, and some of these people, look, Sherm doesn't impress me. Yeah, you heard me. These employers are asking for PhDs in HR and SHRM certificate. I'm not bashing SHRMs, but I'm not a fan. I have their courses. I've taken their courses. I've attended those seminars. I know that information. I don't need a SHRM certificate to validate my experience. I don't. So here's my 100th tangent, because y'all know how I do. I go on my tangent. I would never work for a company that does that to people. This is what people need to do during the hiring process. Legally we should and can say it's contingent to background clearance, and obviously if there's something wrong with the background or drug test, the person knows. They get notified. They know they didn't clear. I really think I have to, I'm not sure if I should do a live on this so that my community can ask me questions on this, because I'm shocked. Am I in the HR bubble, believing that everybody's doing the right thing? And when I hear these stories, it's embarrassing, because as a true professional, and it's heartbreaking. That's what bothers me the most. How could you make an offer and then what if this is, a person's livelihood you're talking about? My advice to you, make sure, do a deep dive, check out the company. What is their reviews? What is their hiring process? Look it up completely. Make sure that you sent that follow-up email after that offer to make sure that all the ducks are in a row. And a real HR professional will respond. And if this happened to you, I'm so sorry. But it says nothing about your worth. you are still wonderfully made. It wasn't anything you did. It's shame on that company. But remember this, guys, patterns change. I know right now what I'm hearing from my community is a lot of people getting laid off. What to do if you get laid off. I rolled that out. Make sure you check out that video. You know what? I'm going to see. I'll connect it to this video, but make sure you check that out. It's the what not to sign, what not to do. You do your due diligence before you give your 2 weeks notice. Don't give your 2 weeks notice until you really feel that this is legit. Once again, you did nothing wrong. You were wonderfully made. You're perfect just the way you are. And just think about it. You just dodged a bullet. Because if they treat candidates like this, how do they treat their employees? I'm just saying. But there are a lot of good HR people out there. And I happen to be one of them. Yeah, toot toot. And I believe that the HR community is out there doing the best thing. But unfortunately, you do have some real bad apples in all industry. But don't give you 2 weeks until you know for sure you can start. Let me know in the comments below. No, I went on like 100 tangents, guys, but it's just, I'm trying to get everything in that may answer the question you have. But once again, leave a comment below. Let me know what questions you may have, and check out the links below, because I have, every time something rolls out, I actually have the links for my books, tools that'll help you, your next 90 days, the next 90 days after you get laid off, a whole bunch of other stuff. And I created, every time I solve a problem with one of my clients or someone close to me, remember, guys, we are blessed by the best. If you have a legit question, and let me know. And you know what? If you want me to go live on this subject, put live in the comments. And depending on how many lives I get, then I'll roll out a live on questions to ask. I will see you in my next one. Make sure you share this with someone. Check out the link.